difference of it's. I'm not considering Tetris a strategy game. I'm considering Tetris my autistic brain enjoyment or like enthusiasm of saying, "Ooh, ah," with the little, the line there. Today we're gonna be talking about instant gratification.
What's that? Why do you look at me?
Okay, chat. If you don't know what instant gratification is, it just means that you only like doing, at least that's how I'm going to be describing it. You only like doing things that give you an instant success given to you. So in this case, if let's say I do something nice for Hypey and I give him a little gift and I say, "Hey Hypey, here's a little gift." And if he doesn't instantly say, "I really like this gift," I'm going to be upset. So let's say I sent it to him and I didn't give it to him. In that moment, I'm not going to enjoy it as much because I'm not getting that instant gratification of seeing his reaction when he opens it up or when he sees what's inside the gift. That's an example of what used to be instant gratification. Now what instant gratification is in a sense when you're doom scrolling, the reason you're stuck on doom scrolling or you end up spending so much more time than you expect is because you're constantly getting instant gratification, because the moment you watch a video, you will be instantly gratified for watching that video because it's 30 seconds and you're thinking, "Wow, that was really cool. I can't believe I enjoyed it." So you're being satisfied for enjoying that type of content. If that makes sense.
Is that how you see short videos as?
No, well, that's how they're described.
Is it?
They're instant gratifications, yeah. That's why people will watch 1,000 or let's say an hour's worth of short videos instead of watching 1 hour long video. Because the idea of getting gratification at the end of the hour long video or a movie is very non-gratification. So when you're watching a short, the reason people get addicted to this is because they're watching it over and or not over the same one, right? But they're watching one and then they get gratified. They're watching another one and then they get gratified and so on. So you keep getting satisfied from your movement of or decision making, right? Because you're making that decision to go to the next one and go to the next one, and you're being constantly satisfied for it. On the other hand, because the algorithm is understanding you better. On the other hand, when you go to Netflix or when you go to YouTube or when you go to the movies and you watch a movie, you don't get that instant gratification because you won't be satisfied from watching that movie and the full movie has been completed. So you also don't know if you will feel satisfied. And sometimes you watch an hours long video or an hours of a movie and you won't feel satisfied the same way you would have felt satisfied if the algorithm had picked a video for you. At the same time, there's obviously short videos that you don't enjoy, and those are the ones that you don't get any gratification. But because you keep using the application, your gratification will improve because the algorithm will understand things that you don't like as well.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. For me, I don't really watch movies. I think I've said this in the past, but one thing that gets me wanting to go to the theaters is the fact that it's something I know of, right? So, for example, recently I watched the Chainsaw Man movie.
Okay.
I read the arc in the manga. I love that arc. I love the characters, and it's amazing. So when it came out in theaters, what's the first thing I did? I was like, I gotta go watch.
Mm-hmm.
So compare that to where, let's say on TikTok, I remember specifically on TikTok, I would search up like auto-related content just to get my algorithm going that way. And now, like every other 2 videos, it's just like something of her related, right? And
I didn't know Otto is a person. Can you describe who Otto is?
Oh, Otto's a singer. You don't know this?
No, you gotta go more into detail.
That's so crazy because I've mentioned Otto so many times in the podcast. Insane work. Anyways, Otto's a Japanese singer. She sings songs. She sang for Uta in One Piece and Film Red. Very popular character. Well, over there. Anyways, the point is, Amazing Singer, right? I wanted my algorithm just to be auto on TikTok because I don't really use TikTok. Sue
Okay.
me. And
I'm suing you. We're suing, guys. Chat, lock in.
I actually can't. I'm not in a financial situation to be sued. The point
Please don't
is,
sue.
please don't refrain. So also you won't get instant gratification from it. So think about it that way. But when I see all the content on TikTok, I know it's just going to be that related. And just like you mentioned, like every 30 seconds, I'll be like, nice. I gotta see another one of those, and I'll just like keep
Yeah,
scrolling.
yeah. That's what I'm referring to, and it's a simple reason as to why I think those gambling machines where they kind of just spin, right? And then you can just click on it again, one little click, and then you just do it again. And then you're, wow, I
Dude.
won or lost. Click. So the outcome is very easy. It's similar to certain sports have more instant gratification than others, such as I would say
Baseball?
well, the actions in certain sports. So, for example, in baseball, you get the instant gratification if you're just batting. So, if you're just a batter, or you go to these batting cages, right, you're getting instantly gratified, or because instant gratification doesn't necessarily mean that you had a positive outcome. It could also refer to instantly knowing the outcome, right?
Oh,
So, you're
right.
getting gratified as to what is the result or what is the answer here. And that's why I'm saying shorts also sometimes people will feel satisfied knowing that they didn't like a video or knowing that they didn't have to watch a full hour's worth of a video because they know that they right in that short segment, right, they got it. And it's similar to how when you watch the beginning or the intro of a video and you don't feel as if it's gonna solve your problem, your mental anguish is might be the way to say it, if you're gonna enjoy it.
Right. Speaking of, guys, make sure to comment below what instant gratification you enjoy. Because one thing I was going to mention is that I've been in Vegas before. I don't know, Innovative, you've seen it where certain people are just in the slot machines
Yeah.
or the button presses, and they're just going like this, right?
Yeah, they're
The
clicking the like
smacking.
button right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And they're clicking the like button over and over again just to feel that satisfaction of supporting a small content creator. And then right after, right, all these jewels and subscribe button scroll through, and then they click the subscribe button because they know that it's gonna make them feel better about themselves and it's gonna make their small creator feel better about themselves.
I can't with this guy. That's not what I was going to say, but that's very true. Gratification. Though there's some people who they just mash on the button of spinning the slot and they're
Yeah.
waiting for the number. They're waiting to their bank account is like draining constantly and they're just mashing over and over again, hoping for a dub. But they don't react until they see the pretty colors come out, right? But other than that, they're just spamming the button. Kind
They
of
don't
similar.
even wait to see what they got. They don't even wait to see if they hit the jackpot. They don't even wait to see if they hit all the goals they needed. They're just clicking it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's insane, but in that kind of aspect, you can see that they're not even there. I guess they just wanted the gratification, right?
Yeah.
That's a bit tricky. Wow.
What do you do in
Regardless,
real life?
what's up?
For your what's your instant gratification?
See, I don't know. I mean, it has to be doom scrolling for the most part because earlier, like this morning, I woke up, I was just in bed for an hour, just going through my feed. What do I do actually? I don't know. What do you do for your instant gratification?
Reddit
Reddit?
for sure. So yeah, going to the comment section on Reddit is my instant gratification. And sometimes I feel unsatisfied because I go to the comments and none of the comments are having an actual conversation. They're saying yay, nay. And I really don't like those types of conversations. I think the reason I enjoy doing the podcast is because we get to talk. And by the way, if you guys have been leaving comments, I love it. I love the audience that we're creating because the audience is very detailed in their reasoning. So that's my instant gratification and I get that from Reddit a lot because I like when people say yay or nay, but also give their reasoning. I'm very invested in reasoning. Reddit has given me that satisfaction for a large part of my adult life. I think I started using Reddit when I was 19 or 20. But let's say you go to Facebook. It's
Okay.
really easy for people to leave a comment on Facebook, but then to judge people based on their appearance. If they disagree with them, they'll say, well, you're fat, you're bald, you're, anorexic, you're cringe, you're hairy. So there isn't a conversation about the topic in the sense of having that argument on that topic. On Reddit, the most you can argue about is looking at people's history and trying to discredit them based on other
Oh,
comments that they have said. But the thing is that generally, it's not generally. Obviously, people still do that. It's not that types of conversations. It's a lot of conversations stating the reasoning as to why they agree or disagree. And sometimes it's very engaging to read just anonymously from people that I'm not judging myself, right? Because I do it too. We all do it, where we
right.
judge people based on how they look as to what they're saying. So if you look very professional, I'm more likely to listen to you. If you look very unkept and then you give your opinion, I'm less likely to listen to you. And I think it's just a subconscious thing that your brain does that you simply can't really turn off most of the time. That is why Reddit is really, really engaging for me because no one is judging each other based on their appearance. They're being judged based on their opinion. And that's why I value I value the comments a lot more.
I guess that's fair because I've been using Reddit for probably 10 years now, maybe a little bit more. And I at first would just go on just to see random content to engage in. Kind of like I guess
Yeah.
how we are with like TikTok and Reels nowadays. But it started becoming a habit where if I wanted discussion, that's where I would go first, right?
Yeah.
Like when I was getting into Smash Brothers competitively, no one in my local area would ever like discuss why we do certain things. We just be like, "Oh, it feels right." So the first thing I did was I went on Reddit. Was
Yeah.
like I forgot what it was called, like a Smash sandbag where you can like post asking for advice, but people were just commenting like, why is that situation happening and what can you do to prevent that? And I remember being very detailed in my comments and not feeling weird about it because someone would be like, oh, I understand why you're doing that. Probably don't do that though. And I was like, oh, gotcha. But that started a long train for me in all types of subreddits. When I finish a series or when I finish an episode, maybe a weekly chapter shows up for a manga. First thing I do, I
Yeah.
go on Reddit. I got to see the discussions. Worlds, League of Legends happened recently. Guess what I did after every game
Yeah.
discussion while waiting for the next game? Went on Reddit, looked for a discussion. People were like, did anyone notice this? And I'm just like, wow, that missed me. That's
Yeah.
cool. I'm glad I went to this discussion.
Yeah. Because even if you do a Facebook group, I think there isn't constructive conversations. There's either yays or nays. Here and there is constructive conversations on Facebook in Facebook groups
Mhm.
or sometimes Facebook pages. It's very rare. It's just not as productive. But that, like I said, that is my instant gratification. I just checked. I have a 500-day streak of actually longer. I have like a 531 days of liking something on Reddit. Every single day, the last 531 days, I have liked at least one thing on Reddit. I wonder where I lost my streak before, but I just like scrolling through comments. I'm not really much of a commenter, and that's why sometimes I have a bad habit of having a hard replying to a lot of our comments on YouTube. I'm gonna go back after this episode. I will go back and reply to you guys. It's just not a habit or something I like doing. I just like either upvoting or creating my opinion into a verbal sense because maybe I just like explaining in such a long train of thought. Maybe that's why.
It's interesting because I mentioned I used Reddit for like 10 years. I don't really like stuff. I'm just a lurker. I don't really
Bully,
comment
bully,
either.
bully lurker.
Yeah, I would argue I think I've commented more on my Reddit account than I've liked posts.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but sometimes like certain discussions, I'll go out of my way and be like, wait, I gotta learn how to format in this app again because I think it's a little bit different. But
Yeah.
it's it's weird, right? Because I feel more engaged to want to respond to our kind of content. But even then, I just do it if like no one else is saying stuff. Like if a lot of people are discussing, I'll go back to my lurker mode brain, right? It's kind of like
So what makes you? What's your instant gratification? You said you still don't, you haven't thought about it yet. We
yeah,
got
yeah,
to the episode and Hype is like, you know what? Let me think about it during the
yeah.
episode.
Dude, that okay. Well, first of all, it was like when you brought up the topic, I was just like, oh, you know what? It has to be when I stream on Twitch, like, because I'm only there for the viewer
He's plugging
count.
himself right here.
Yeah, like, what do I do after every podcast episode, specifically at 2 p.m. Central Time? I'm always streaming. We know that.
Chat, please show up.
And the first thing I do, what do I do? Stream on twitch.tv/hypey with 3 E's. Of course.
Oh my goodness.
Of course that's what I do.
Please, this guy.
So, I mean, does that count? Because I hate when number go low, Sag. Oh, I want instant results.
Your instant gratification is on content then, right? Isn't it? So
Yep.
when number go up, you feel more satisfied?
Yeah, I'm like the monkey image where it's like serotonin activated.
Yeah,
or like
I think that's your instant gratification, Hypey, where if something when you're creating content, you want the results instantly of thinking, okay, we got a lot of views. Okay, we didn't get any.
okay.
Where are my views? You
Okay.
know? So I think that's your instant gratification.
I used to be really bad about that, by the way. Let it be known, there's a YouTube video I made on my personal channel. I spent 3 days editing it. It is garbage in comparison to what I could do today. But that's my baby. You know what I mean? I love it. And what happened after I uploaded it? It got like 15 views, and that's because my previous video before that was like a random Mario World playthrough day I did on Twitch where I just edited clips and stuff, right? It wasn't that much. Obviously, the video I edited for 3 days was a lot more. It was about Liar's Bar, the game where it's like a deceiving game. And I remember being so doomer about it just because I wanted to see number go up. Because I worked hard on it, right? At the time. But it took like a week before it popped off. I ended up getting like 100 views on it, but I was
didn't
happy.
do anything for you after that, right? Because after that, you didn't get your instant gratification from editing the video. So because you didn't get instant gratification, now you don't want to do another one, or you didn't do another one rather, because in that moment you were thinking, if I get 1,000 views right now in the next 15 minutes after posting, I'll do another one. But you didn't get that, so you said, all right, never mind.
Dude, I'm
not gonna do another one.
It was more like the thought of my lower effort video doing better made me think I should just do lower effort. But the problem became that I went to going to doing no effort at all, right?
Yeah, I feel that, man.
That sucks.
I'm sorry.
Do you consider what about competitive gameplay, like in Marvel Rivals, for example?
I
ranking
think
up.
that is for sure. My instant gratification is any competitive game, the winning or losing. I have a bad habit of not practicing. I think it's very similar. Oh my goodness, it's very similar to my studies. I never thought about it. Where in my studies, I don't really have to study, and because of that, I would always just be in the top of my class when I was growing up, all the way to probably high school. I'm gonna say calculus or pre-calculus, where I sucked ass. I literally just sucked ass. Our teacher sucked, but it's one of those things where I didn't go look up things to practice, or I didn't try to study because I had always just naturally been able to do it. And I think it's the same thing as with video games, where instead of practicing, explicit practicing, I just go into it. I think what's really interesting about gaming is if you get to a certain level, actually like processing it in your head without doing it. So a good example would be Tetris, where I really wanted to win a Tetris 99. And it's one of those things where there's no VODs, there's nothing, right? It's just practice, it's consistent. And I think that's my instant gratification where line disappear. You throw line, Tetris disappear. So it's an instant gratification every time. And I really, 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 really to win a Tetris 99. So every night I would play Tetris 99, literally for an hour before going to bed. But I just wasn't winning. So then I went out of my way to practice just Tetris, regular Tetris. I think it's on tetris.com. I'm not sure, tetris.play. And I would practice on the drive because I didn't have internet, on the bus drive on a Chromebook. And I would just be practicing over and over and over and over again. So much to the point that I was playing the game in my head when I was showering. And then I won. And then I just didn't give a shit. I think I dropped the game, I think 1 week after winning a Tetris 99.
By the way, I can relate to the whole after getting into a game for so long, you kind of like start seeing it in your head. There's like a common pattern that chess players do when they see a board state where they'll go like, and they're just looking away, thinking about it, and they'll like even stare at the ceiling and they're just kind of like, because I always thought that was interesting. I've never felt that feeling, but as I grew older, I started catching myself doing that motion because there's a lot of times where if I talk like a strategy for like whether it be like Smash or World of Warcraft, right, a platformer, I'm thinking to myself like looking to the side, picturing what I need to do and is it possible. And like if I see a puzzle, I start trying to make sense of like the lines and such, right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of crazy, right?
Well, the thing is that in what I was gonna finally reference to is that in research, they told people to imagine themselves throwing a basketball, right? So they had beginners and they had experts or intermediates as well. And they let everybody throw the basketball, but then after a while, I think they asked them all to, right? That was their base. Hey, throw the basketball. And then they told some people to throw it again. And then they told other people, hey, imagine yourself throwing the basketball as a way of practice, right? So they basically, without a basketball, right? They would just like imagine it or
cool,
like stand still, right? To just like imagine themselves doing the routine or practicing without actually doing the action. So it's like the conceptualizing it in your brain, what you're going to be doing when you're given the opportunity again to practice.
Right.
And then it turns out if you're a beginner, there's no improvement. If you're intermediate, there's a little improvement. And if you're an expert, it turns out it was as good of a practice as if you were actually just practicing.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So, yeah.
I was going to say for basketball specifically, I could imagine like the swish motion, kind of like doing the whole routine. And then the difference is like getting the ball thrown at you. So you just add that to the motion. And so it feels kind of natural for like a better player, or I guess someone who frequents basketball, right?
Yeah, their scores improve. That's the crazy part about it. But it only works if you've got into a certain. It's kind of like since I was a teacher, I can even speak for this. It's kind of like there's no point in telling a student to magically practice or study a level 5 as an example, a level 5 problem, or hey, how would you solve a level 5 problem if they're struggling with level 2 or level 1 as an example, right?
Oh yeah.
So you cannot expect them to conceptualize or to think about similar problems or to create a similar problem when they themselves are at a lower level. And I think those kinds of studies kind of give you more examples of it only works. That type of practice of imagining yourself doing it only works with experts, and it improves an expert as much as the expert would have improved with just regular practicing, because they themselves know exactly what they're going for And they can, during that visual imaginary practice, they're also processing what it should look like,
Right.
because they know what it should look like. On the other hand, for a beginner, even if you're trying to have an idea of what it's supposed to look like, you don't know in full the whole process of what you should be doing.
Right.
So that is why I think that's why it took me so long to be practicing Tetris in my head, because when you play, the thing about Tetris is, I don't know if it's 6 or 7 pieces, you literally can play the game in your head if you've played it a lot of times. And I think it's very similar to how you were mentioning chess, where in chess, for me, I stopped enjoying it because it was a lot of, it's puzzles. It's a puzzle game. That's why I stopped enjoying or stopped having instant gratification from, playing chess, because I was playing a lot of bullet chess to try to get good at it. But when I started learning that chess is not an actual strategy game because it's already been solved. So strategy to me, don't hate the mess, don't hate my opinion, but to me, strategy is the idea of trying to solve something that has not been solved, right? Or trying to figure out a way to defeat your opponent, right, in a strategic manner, such as being creative in your thoughts of how you would do so. The thing about chess is that it has been it's such an old game that a computer can play perfectly, meaning that it has already been solved. It's a puzzle game. There are some chess masters that get bored of it because they say, I want chess 2.0. Where's the new chess? Because for them, they realize that it's just a memorization of puzzles. So that's my argument against chess.
I have 2 things to say about that. First of all, we need to get this man to the doctor because he's sick in the head. That has to be one of the worst takes I've ever heard from Innovate, specifically saying that chess is just solved. That is crazy. By a computer, yeah, whatever. Anyways, the second one, yeah, Tetris has 7 pieces. I've played the game a lot of the time, and even though I thought I was really good at it, even like speed wise, that's when I started learning like new stuff like the T spins.
Yeah.
And setting up
more to go for sure.
Yeah, and like learning about T spins and setting up places. You want to talk about a solved game? Tetris is more solved than chess because you have the same 7 pieces. There's a layout. There's a layout. You want to continue the same thing, whether you have like a 3 gap, a 2 gap, 4 gap. When you're making your combo strings,
my ADD brain likes it. Is that what you want me to say, Earl?
Honestly, yes, because then you're being honest.
Autistic brain likes the repetitiveness. There's a difference of it's. I'm not considering Tetris a strategy game. I'm considering Tetris my autistic brain enjoyment or like enthusiasm of saying, ooh, put the little line there. It's the same thing every single time.
It's still crazy. There's like 1,000 openings in chess, and this guy's gonna tell me it's solved. If it was solved, they would just use the same opening each time. Interesting.
The thing is that the human brain struggles with memorization, and because there's so many possibilities and opportunities, right? It's just so unrealistic to memorize everything.
It's kind of like
people can, right? And some people win tournaments because they try a different opening than people are used to as well.
That's not true.
Okay, my bad, bro.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
These are crazy. Yeah. These are
leave a comment.
These are the most self-report. I don't watch chess games I've ever heard.
Okay, we're gonna go watch the chess game so that we can argue.
Dude, I'm just saying, like, I've watched GMs, I've watched IMs, I've watched constant gameplay of this, and you know what's solved? Tic-tac-toe. Tic-tac-toe is solved. You want to talk about like? There's a reason why no one sees checkers. Checkers is solved. Chess isn't solved. Not in human way. It's kind of like, okay, here's my thought process.
Explain it.
In speedruns, is every game solved because there's tasks tool assisted speedruns? No. People still find out new things every day. There's stuff in Mario Bros, the original Mario Bros, that people are still finding out today. Whether it be the frame rule, whether it be why we need to save more frames in 8.4, the possibilities are endless. But if we just said it was solved in 2014 when they made the task for the perfect run, then that's it, right? But humans
Yeah.
constantly push the boundaries, and it's also a different aspect when it comes from actually doing the act. No?
Okay. We can argue the speedrun, right? Because where's the instant gratification in speedrun? There isn't.
PB. You get a new PB.
No. But I guess,
Oh, you mean like quickly?
I guess
that's fair.
if you're a big fan of speedruns, you're not an instant gratification person. Actually, let's use that as right. That's the argument. The argument.
You know what?
No
I can give that up. You know what I'm saying? Put that in there. So because when you think about it, when I watch speedrunners, I just have them in my second monitor. They're like white noise. I look every now and then.
Some of them don't even talk, dude, during their practice.
Yeah, those people are crazy. But because I feel like they're just going insane. But I watch when I see a promising run halfway through. I'll be like, hold on. Oh, for example, recently my friend Frisky, he was playing the Sans fight in Undertale, the genocide route, the one where you fight Sans. Very hard fight. We've known this, right? I had his stream and I was like watching the whole time because I wanted to just see him succeed. But then eventually it went to the point where I stopped watching because you're kind of watching this man just bash his head against the wall. However, anytime he got to the second part of the fight, that's when I dropped everything I was doing and I started watching and I was like, wait, I gotta watch this. Funny enough, by the way, when he finally beat it, I think I was 10 times more excited than he was. Right? He was so like over it. But to me, I was like, I did it. I won. You know what I mean?
I think we go back to previous episodes conversation where we mentioned how underdog stories just make you feel so fulfilled. But I think that's a different argument or a different conversation of fulfillment and instant gratification, because when you're scrolling, right?
Yeah.
You actually feel unfulfilled because there's no end to it. And I think there was a science study how people that scroll through reels and stuff like that, or social media, because it's infinite. There's no end to it, right? And even the person that created, I don't know if you know this, but on Facebook it used to be that you actually got to the end.
Mm-hmm.
You actually got, hey, you saw the full end of the feed, so you ended up feeling fulfilled that you got to the end of it. Same thing with Reddit, where before it wasn't an infinite scroll, it was a pages. So you'd scroll to the end of the first page and then you'd feel fulfilled and then you'd stop and then you're like, I'm good. I went through the whole first page. Second page is always kind of like mid or average, and you're like, I'm good. But the infinite scroll, whether it be reels or social media or YouTube, removes the lack of fulfillment. But if you watch longer form videos like a podcast, I really had to go get that.
So what I was going to say is that that's true with social media, that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram too, right? When you scroll so far in your main feed and then you reach the bottom where it ends, I always just refresh it. And I'm like, give me more. But when it comes to reels and such, it never ends. Which, there's not much correlation in this. I just had a random thought. You ever think it's funny how we'll go on for pages and pages on social medias, but on Google, when it comes to finding a result, we don't even look at the second page? They found 37 million results and we don't care.
It is so good. And I remember when they finally created such a fast automated system that they were praised as saying, wow, they solved the internet.
Oh yeah, I do remember that vaguely.
And now it doesn't matter. It's kind of the expectation is, why is your website loading so slow, or why are my holy shit, dude. But Google pioneered the internet, bro. Google, I think at one point they perceived it as a monopoly, because if you Googled something and then didn't pop up on the first page, you died. Like, your website is dead. It's cooked. You're gone. But even now, I think small businesses are really dependent on Google showing them as, hey, I'm looking for food
right
in my local area. And if you're not popping up there, dude, you're actually losing a shit ton of money. So I don't know if you guys have seen this, but you can actually pay to get sponsored on Google Maps right now, whereas before that wasn't the case. So you'll see that if you Google something, it'll pop up as a square instead of a circle, and that would be like a sponsored location. Did
That's
you know
crazy. No, I didn't know that.
this?
That's cool though, in a way, but
It's
yeah,
dependent on the perspective. Good for Google, good for the consumer, bad for the business, because it becomes a race to the top.
right.
And where before it was which one has the best reviews, which one is best, but now it's okay, I have to spend more than my other businesses so that I can make more money, or so that I end up at the top of the search results for maps, as an example.
Right.
Whereas
Because
before that, yeah.
I was just gonna say, because the more I thought about it, the more it felt that I was like, oh, that's not bad. Okay, maybe a little bit actually.
Yeah, if you're a business, you're kind of thinking, oh shit, dude, we didn't spend enough money on Google and we didn't have enough foot traffic because of it.
Right.
It's rough out here, bro. Super
Well,
rough out here.
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know, chat. Thank you for being here. Did you watch our other episodes? Yo, episode I recommend you guys. If you want to watch an episode, attention span is pretty funny for me. But if you haven't seen the first episode, we're unemployed, and we're still unemployed, by the way. Go watch the first episode, because I think it was there's a pivotal moment of who we are.
I kind of need to rewatch that episode. I feel like, dude, what if we just sound the same? We have not improved. Like,
Whoa!
I would hate to hear
I
that.
don't know about you, brother.
Oh, that's crazy. What are you trying to imply? Dude, guys,
Whoa. You're the one saying, I don't know if we improved. I'm like,
you're sick in the head, dude. Any final
brother,
thoughts?
that's a you problem. That's not a me problem.
What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is that while instant gratification can lead you to feel satisfied in moments, it will not lead to your fulfillment. So do things that make you feel fulfilled, but they don't always include things that will give you instant gratification. Just a heads up.
This guy's so sick in the head, man. Sorry, unrelated. I'm sorry.
Unrelated to this guy being a degenerate chess comment.
Sorry, dude. My opinion.
Absolutely degenerate comments.
It might be the last episode we ever record, guys.
What?
My opinion changed drastically this man.
Replace this guy. I need us. Bring me someone else.
Man, it's so funny. You know what that reminds me of? When we were joking, like after the second episode was released, how we were gonna kick you off the podcast.
Dude, it was such. I remember it being kind of like a meta joke from. We need. I think I'm okay with having guests at this point. I think we already hit the mark where I think I'm okay with guests. It'd be fun. I think we just have a topic, and then the guest can either play along with us or be kind of like an outcast. And we just tell the other person, "Hey, shut up, bro. We're talking."
That's crazy.
We're having a good time, dude. Shut up.
You know, maybe I'll be what's the word? Having someone back you up. What's the term when you feel justified? I'll feel more justified because I'll have someone else in the call just reacting very gross at what Innovate
you
says.
pay them before the episode. Hey, here's $5, dude. Say whatever. Like, agree with everything.
See, the thing is, I know I don't need to pay them.
What do you mean? Hi, B. Oh, whoa. Everything you say is a non-negotiable. I agree with this guy.
That's not true. And if you've seen the previous episodes, you'll see that I'm very open-minded. Just not when, not when this guy said the wrong stuff.
That wasn't the question. The question is, do you think people would agree with everything you say?
On average, our conversations, yes. 95% of the time, yes.
You were the one that's saying My Hero Academia sucks.
Yeah, and guess who's gonna agree with me? The third person.
Oh my god!
I know what I'm saying. I'm not delusional. I just know the truth.
The biggest My Hero Academia fan ever, and they say, "Wow, Hype, you suck."
I think they would still agree with me because you'll eventually find a way to give a bad take again. But
Okay, whoa. I'm not intentionally making bad takes. Okay,
he said,
I feel like you're just saying agreeable
okay,
takes to avoid engagement.
let it be known. Let it be known. He
Hypebeast, we're
specifically
podcasters. We need engagement. Hype.
he specifically just said right now that he doesn't do it on purpose, meaning he acknowledges their bad takes, but he doesn't do anything about it. That's crazy. I want you guys to remember that he acknowledged that his takes are bad. Anyways, you know what's not bad? The content in this channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Say bye. Say bye.
I really wanted to flip off the camera.